connecting to. So I'll just say a quick hi here now. So I've got other people here on the Zoom with me. So welcome to the Zoom today, Friday, goodness knows what date it is, 15th of January, already into the new year, and apparently Easter's is coming as well. So today's little session, we're going to talk about pelvic floor education, and then we'll take it to the mat for a bit of stretching. And also we want to be able to apply this knowledge into our movement. You know, it can be bladder, it can be you know, through the anus, bladder, pelvic parts, different muscles of the pelvic floor. So they actually, you know, prolapse, and depends on the degree. There's different degrees. So some that you can work back yourself, and some that actually have to have medical intervention. Thankfully, I worked my pelvic floor very hard after that incident with my son. So pelvic floors are totally repairable if you do actually have worst case scenario prolapses, and I would certainly recommend pelvic floor exercises before you took the road of intervention, you know, because there's scar tissue involved in that if we have operations. So so today I'm going to take you through yes, this little introduction around pelvic floor, and then a few different exercises that you can do to help improve your pelvic floor. And so just basically what you need to know about, we talk about pelvic floor, so literally floor muscles standing up, and it literally just holding your internal organs in. So vagina, anus. If we didn't have pelvic floor muscles, your internal organs would actually just fall out. So there's loads and loads of little muscles that make up that pelvic floor group. So in terms of Pilates and in terms of core strength, we want to have a clear understanding of how the pelvic floor works with the abdominals. So when we talk about deep abdominal engagement, it's a set of muscle groups, one being the pelvic floor. So in the Pilates cueing, so if you're in the academy, in the Pilates cueing, we might say things like draw up your pelvic floor, zip up, draw in. So there's many different cues that we use to help you engage your core. But but we want to be able to break it down a little bit before we get to that, and understand that we just want a slight engagement of the pelvic floor. So I'm going to take you through 3 stages of pelvic floor engagement, and don't worry if you don't feel anything. So women with very weak pelvic floors barely feel anything. You know, I'll take them through this sort of training and they're just like, no, not really. But look, at the end of the day, they have to have a pelvic floor because it's what stops you from urinating, basically. Okay, so it is that feeling. So if you struggle to know what that feels like, it's basically that, just this holding on to the wee and letting go. So I want you to think about the pelvic floor, your pelvic floor and your pelvic floor alone. It doesn't matter if you're sitting, standing, whatever position, because we want to have engagement in all areas. And I want you to think of it in terms of a 3-level elevator: first level, second level, third level. So this is one of your exercises I'm going to take you through now. But first step, I love to break things down into little ways that we can get a greater awareness. So first level, I just want you to just subtly draw what you believe to be your pelvic floor up, just really softly, and then just let it relax. And just a little connection drawing up, and then just the little lotus flower opening and closing. I should say too, Pauline, feel free to use the chat too. I can see the chat if you want to ask any questions. If you want to ask any questions, just throw it in the chat. So now we're going to take that slide engagement and think about 3 levels. So now drawing up to first level and just relax the whole body. And then drawing up your pelvic floor to the second level, holding. And then the third level, holding. Usually just breathe through that. And we're going to relax the pelvic floor to second level. So there's a control that's needed here. First level. And completely relaxing, letting go. Now, many women don't even get to third level. Some women get to second level and it's like twitching and it's hard to hold. Just for today, I just want you to observe where you're at with that. You may be none of those things. So let's go again, just first level, holding. And second level, holding. Third level, back to second, back to first, and completely softening and relaxing. So that's your elevator pelvic floor exercises. First level, second level, third level. I think I've got a handout somewhere. So if you want the handout, just message me because I might forget and I'm happy to send that to you. So really great. So going back to my story of my prolapse. So that was a pretty extreme case. So you know, maybe a bit too much information for you, but I literally had my cervix hanging outside of my vagina. It wasn't pretty. So I did those exercises, and there's different types of pelvic floor exercises that we can do. And I did those, I would have done those exercises easily 8 to 10 times a day for, you know, more than several months. And then I reduced the amount of times I do it. So my suggestion to you would be just find some triggers that will help you remember to do them, because it's one of those things. So it could be when you make a cup of tea, could be when you brush your teeth morning and night, and that might be enough for you to go, every time I make a cup of tea 2 times a day and brush my teeth 2 times a day, there's 4 times a day you're going to practice those exercises. So any questions about that exercise? That's your elevator exercise. So I'm going to give you one more, and it's just called the emergency break. Pilates has got some pretty lame old names. So it's literally going to full engagement and letting go. So that's all it is. So let's go zipping up. First, second level, third level, hold. Completely letting go. First, second level, third level, hold. Completely letting go. First, second level, third. Completely letting go. Okay, so there's your 2 exercises to practice, and I'll put them in the academy if you're in the academy. And over the next week, I'll also put this out on some social media so you can get a little bit more infiltration. So in order to learn things, we want to hear things a few times over and over again. Also, just note too, I talk about my experience was having a baby, and first, like second level, third level that we do through the elevator floor. In Pilates, we want to this is why it's actually really important. We want to actually just really have an awareness of where first level is. There is women that have overactive pelvic floors and that they're just so tight that they cause their own problem in other areas. It inhibits the muscle activation of other muscle groups and that sort of thing. So we want to do a slow, gradual engagement of the deep abdominal. So in order to do that, we want to, have that clear understanding of level 1, where that is. But if we over-engage, so if we just go bang, grip, on my abdominals are on, we may miss the intermediate level of this deep drawing in. So it's very easy in terms of Pilates and movement to, I'll just lower that down. It's very easy to just, let me get my right height, just sort of grip, like draw in the tummy and work from here, from this structure. Okay, this can be problematic And in fact, I've got little problems with that myself because I'm so strong in my upper abdominals that it causes restriction around this thoracic region here. Okay, so if you've got a posture that has got a very big arch or either not, this is why drawing inwards and upwards from the pelvic floor, slowly and gradually, and not going into a big gripping, is so important. So let's take that on the mat now. So if you can come down, my boyfriend's got rid of my box, so I'm not sure about my heights and things today. That looks pretty good. Okay. So all fours position. And we're going to practice pelvic floor core engagement in this position. So some women activate better in different positions. I was sitting on a football, sitting, standing. So it's good to practice those position engagement in different positions. So in your all fours position, wrists directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. So I'm just going to take you through the 3 levels once more. So let's just go pelvic floor engagement, first level, and second level, and third level. Back to your second, back to your first, and keep completely relaxed. And I didn't cue with the wrists, so beg your pardon. So if you can spread your fingers, that's just my little wrist modification. So let's go again. Pelvic floor elevated, first level, second level, third level, back to second, level pelvic floor connection, and then you're going to just tuck your pelvis, arch your spine. Now you're zipping up. By the time we're in the big arch, you're up to level 3. You're drawing up all those other lower tummy muscles. Back to neutral. You might just let go of the pelvic floor. We can't just keep hanging onto it. It's not strong enough. Let's go, breathe out. Level 1, pelvic floor. Add all of your zipping. By the time we arch, level 3. Breathe into neutral. Breathe out, level 1, level 2, arching, zipping. Level 3. Breathe in, we'll do 2 more. Breathe out, arch your spine. Level 1, 2, 3. And we'll do 1 more there. Breathe out, arch your spine, level 1, 2, 3. Keep your big spine out, reach your bottom back onto your heels for a nice spine stretch now. Reach the arms long. Always adjust your position, so if you need to take your knees a wider, you will. You can walk your hands a bit longer. And if you've got availability, you can drop your forehead to the mat. So while you're holding that stretch, just breathe and zip. I need to fix my... I'm a box collector and I have all these boxes for props. My boyfriend throws them out. The pounder's like, where's my box? Amy threw my box in the bin. I know. Men, right? Okay. Making your way over onto your back now. Okay. Just relaxing down. And in this position, we'll practice our 3-level pelvic floor. If you've got a block or pillow, all good. Settling down there. First thing we always do is check our alignment on the mat. So our alignment's always square on the mat. Feet in line with the hips. So before we start any movement, we're going to do 1 more set of level 1, 2, 3. Just without the breathing, just connect to your level 1 pelvic floor, level 2 pelvic floor, level 3. Check that you're level 3, that you're not going into that butt grip. Everything's soft. Back to level 2, level 1. Completely relaxed. Now we'll bring it to movement with our pelvic tilts. Breath in. Breathe out as you do your level 1. Start tilting and tucking, and by the time you empty your breath, then you've drawn all the way up. Like a pubic bone is trying to reach up into your belly button. Breathing back to neutral. Neutral is your little arch in your back. Breathe out, pelvic floor, level 1, level 2, level 3. Flatten your back into the mat. Breathe in, back to your neutral. We'll do 3 more of those. Breathe out, level 1, level 2, level 3. Breathe in. So now in terms of Pilates, before we're talking about just isolating pelvic floor, but now we're drawing up and adding lower tummy muscles as well. That's from hip bone to hip bone. It's like a drawing. Everything's joining the party here now. Breathe in, back to neutral. Let's do 1 more of those. Breathe out, tilt your pelvis. And then settle back into neutral. So we'll just go into your Pilates cueing. Normal Pilates breathing and zipping, and just keep that little information in mind. So let's go left leg, leg lift, breath in, and on the breath out, lift the left leg to tabletop, just knee over hip. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. 3 more, breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. And just take note what's happening. Pelvic floor, zip. Pelvic floor, zip. Breathe in, lower. Last one. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. And let's go to the other side. Breath in, ready to go. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Pelvic floor, zip it up. Breathe in, lower. And 1 more, breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. And just small sway through the knees. Walk your ankles and knees together and just do this lovely little sway. So it's so important that we spend time in the beginning of our Pilates session doing this core connection. It's sort of like, you know, if we miss that, we miss the whole basis and foundation of our Pilates. And ultimately, it's about core strength. It's about many, many things. But, you know, if we want to improve our posture, if we want to, you know, do sports, we want to have, you reduce back pain, all of those things are about core strength. Okay, come back to center now. You're going to take your feet back to hip distance apart. Breath in, breathe out, float 1 knee at a time to tabletop position. So knees directly over the hip joint. What we've got to watch here is these knees don't track away from the hips. So just bring your knees to chest, hands on knees, and do a little rock side to side. So this is always a rescue position, rescue or rest position. It's really only for the back. So let's have a look at this alignment here. So if we start fatiguing in the abdominals, oftentimes it's the abdominals are fatigued and the knees sort of track away and it causes this big arch in the back. So we don't want that. We do a little toe taps from this position, breath in, and on the breath out, tap the toe down, breathe in, lift, and find your pelvic floor, breathe out, tap, breathe in, lift, breathe out, tap, breathe in, lift. Now, for some reason, keep going. If this is too strong for you, if you're having trouble holding your legs up, continue there. You can keep 1 foot on the floor and do a little tap with 1 foot on the floor. So it's a much more supported position. It's always a modification. Let's tap 1 more each leg. Breathe in, lift, breathe out, lower, and lift. Hands on knees, little rock side to side. So we'll go into our pelvic curl now, 1 foot at a time to the floor. Well, if you've got a block on your head, take it away. I don't usually teach my little short pants. It's been so hot. So let's do a A-frame arm position at the side. So not too high, little A-frame. Feet in line with the hips. Going to do your tilts to bridge. Breath in. On the breath out, tilt the pelvis, start lifting your hips, your bridge position. Hold. Little awareness, connect to pelvic floor. Breath in. On the breath out, peel your spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Breathing back to your neutral pelvis. And we'll do 4 more of those. Breathe out, tilt, peel your spine up. Breath in. And on the breath out, peel your spine down. So it's this nice laying up and laying down. Going again, breathe out, tilt, lifting. Breath in at the top. And on the breath out, peel down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Let's do 2 more of these. This next one, hold your bridge up. It's going to challenge it by bringing some heat into the thighs and maybe your butt muscles here. Reach your arms back if your shoulders allow. Just have a big stretch there from your knees to your wrist. I'm going to roll down from this position, breath in. And on the breath out, drop through the breastbone. And the next vertebrae, tuck your pelvis. Breathing back to neutral. Float the arms back to start. We'll do 1 more. Breathe out as you tilt. Peel up. Hold your bridge up. Reach the arms back. Breath in. And let's melt down 1 vertebrae at a time. Peel your spine down. And come back down, float the arms down. If you like a head lock, you can take a head lock. Let's have a small hamstring stretch here. Bring your right ankle to the ceiling. Take your hand behind that leg. Now with our stretches, we just want to have that little awareness to pelvic floor zipping here. So your other leg can either be bent or you can reach it long. You can make it energized and get the stretch through the hip. Just a couple of breaths here. And you're going to do a soft bend of that knee and reach. Soft bend and reach. And 1 more reach. And lower that leg with control. Switch sides. Reach the heel to the ceiling. I must say, it's a bit hard getting back into swing of things after Christmas, New Year period. Christmas seems so long ago, but yeah, getting back into the swing of things has been a little bit slow for me. Breathe and zip, so keep your pelvic floor connection. We'll make that dynamic. Bend, reach, bend, reach. Bend, reach. Soften the knees. Bring both knees to the center in tabletop position. I want you to squeeze your ankles and knees together. Keep the shoulder pressed. It's a strong connection to the upper body. Breathe in, rotate your knees and pelvis to the left. Breathe out, squeeze your knees back to start. Always pelvic floor. Breathe in, rotate, other side. Breathe out, back to start. Continue there. Breathe in, rotate. Breathe out, back to start. Breathe in, rotate. Breathe out, back to start. 1 more each side. We're just doing a small amount of reps this morning, about 6 in each movement. Back to start, breathing, rotate. Back to start. 1 foot at a time to the floor with control. So you can see Pilates always has these controlled movements. Then just bring your knees up and twist to the side. Always like a nice side twist. Bring the hand on the knee and draw that knee down. Just breathe through any tightness. Just always these little rest stretches. Just have a run a scan through the body. Well, how's the body feeling? How is it reacting to this movement? Do you need to modify and soften it? Or how can you increase the stretch? But always core awareness. Like a book, 1 knee at a time, up, back through center, over to the other side. Check the neck is not being strained in that position. One more breath, and then one knee at a time back to center. Do a little chest lift. So now we're getting into the superficial abdominals here. Bring both hands behind your head, elbows at peripheral. So we don't want to drop the elbows back because we shrug the shoulders down and keep them in their set position. Now I'm already connecting to my first level pelvic floor. See if you can find it. Breath in, and on the breath out, lift your upper body, eyes just look at your knees. Breathe in, lower. We're just going to do 4 more of these. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, lift. So as you're doing this, I just want you to really focus on the drawing up of the pelvic floor. Because if we're a little bit weak in the pelvic floor here, we can lift and sort of push down into the pelvic floor, and there's this sort of gripping. And I've got that in the academy around. It's called doming. It's this gripping that happens here, as opposed to this drawing up from our elevated like we talked earlier. So let's breathe out, lift. It takes a bit of concentration. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. 2 more like that. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, lower. Okay, you're going to roll over onto your hands and knees again. I'll wait for you. So I'll just talk while you're getting set up. So hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hip. So we've got to not sort of collapse here. We see a lot of collapsed postures. So our all-fours position is really strong. So draw up your tummy. It's going to be a little bit stronger for you. And if you can, tuck your toes under. We can do toes pointed away or toes tucked under. And drawing up. So by now I'm setting up into probably about level 2 with the pelvic floor. I'm going to do what's called a knee hover. It's pretty strong. Breath in. And on the breath out, you're just going to hover the knees off the mat. Literally hover. Breathe in, lower. I'm going to do 4 more of those. Breathe out, left, hover. Does not lift your bum up. It's a little hover. Breathe out, left. Breathe in, lower. Breathe out, left. And lower. Left. Nice and strong. And last one, left, lower. And then just take your bottom back onto your heels for your rest position. Just going to take you into a little hip stretch. So I'm just going to move the screen a little bit. So nice hip flexor stretch. So come up on your high knees here and step your left or right foot forward, whatever feels appropriate for you there. Just going to open up the front of the hip here. So we want to be able to lift your rib cage without, doing a big monster flare in the back. Because every time we flare in the back, if we don't have enough length of the spine, which comes from core strength, we load down into the lumbar, and this is problematic for discs, okay? So if you don't, you did that repetitively, it could cause a disc problem. Strong front leg. Press that front leg into the floor. There's a little pelvic tilt if you need a little bit extra. So I'm already in my stretch. I don't know about you. If you need to, you can walk that front leg a little bit more forward. But lift your rib cage up. Breathe and zip. Should be feeling that in the hip. If you need to, you can walk a little bit forward, drawing the tummy in. Breathe and zip. As always, pelvic floor. So it's strong, even holding this stretch. So front leg's working. And then just push yourself back, and then we'll change around the other side. So the front leg supports the kneeling knee. So if that front leg's not strong, there's going to be a lot of load in that knee. Walk that front leg forward as much as you need to. Tilt the pelvis, lock that stretch in, and breathe and zip. Breathe and zip. One more breath there. We do a lot of sitting. We've got to do lots of hip flexor stretches. There's no doubt about that. Most of us do a lot of sitting. It's the era we live in, right? Push the foot, front foot back into all fours. So we'll do one more that's nice and strong here. Wrists directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. You're going to breathe in, prepare, and on the breath out, extend your left arm without shifting the body. Breathe in, bring the hand back, stabilize. Breathe out, extend the other arm. Breathe in, bring it back. So it's breathe out, extend the arm. Breathe in, bring it back. Breathe out, extend. Last one, extend. Now we're going to do the same with the legs. Just breathe out, extend the legs straight back like a dart. So it's not lift the hip. Breathe in, bring it back in. Breathe out, extend. Drag back in. Breathe out, extend. Breathe in, where's your pelvic floor here? Breathe out, extend. One more each side, extend. Extend. And then we'll go into rest position. Bottom on your heels. Take your arms nice and long. Walk them long. Breathe and zip. Okay, next position. While you were stretching, I was changing. So come onto your side lying position. So any side lying position, we always need to support the head. This is my favorite position where I cup my hand under my head, like a little hammock. You can also just take that arm long, or a little pillow. I love a little pillow too. So stack the knees, stack the hips, the knees, and the ankles. You're going to bring the ankles together like a little V. This little clam. Breathe in, open, pelvic floor, and close. Breathe in, open, and close. So don't worry today so much about the positioning of all of this. I just want you to focus on where does that pelvic floor work with all of this. Breathe out. There's that little subtle zipping. And you're probably guessing by now, or you've got part of the picture, that it takes a lot of concentration. And key Pilates principle is concentration, is this real presence and exploring your own body, and every movement can be perfected over time. That's how we master Pilates. We master our principles, concentration, pelvic floor engagement. It's called centering. Centering is about the core. I also teach centering about life. That's another training. And one more there. And lower down, just relax, soften there. So we'll do one more here before we change sides. So this is an external rotation. Okay, the thigh bone is wrapping outwards. So look at it in the version of the arm. Wrapping outwards, external, wrapping inwards, internal. So we'll go back to that first position, lift up the knee. And then we bring the knee together, bring the heel up. So there's an internal rotation. Breathe out, go external rotation out. Bring the knee together, heel up. External rotation. And all the time you're doing that today, you're going, where's the pelvic floor? Zip. Where's the pelvic floor? Breathe in, breathe out, zip it up. And one more each side. And zip. And then bring the knees down, just relax there. We're going good for time, so we'll add this one in now. So just cup both hands behind your head. There's like these little wings. You're going to support your neck the whole time. Breathe in, elbow to ceiling. And on the out breath, hang back through the middle of the back. Think in terms of the brass strap area. Breath in, hold. Breathe out, bring it home. Lower the elbow. Now, if you've got a bad elbow, you can just sort of rest the arm here and roll back like that. We'll do two more like that. Breathe in, elbow to ceiling. Breathe out, rotate. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, bring it home. Lower the elbow. One more. Breathe in, pelvic floor. Breathe in, breathe out, pelvic floor. Bring it home and lower. And changing sides. Stacked, shoulders stacked. No rushing. Cupping of the head. And then we go into our little clam. Open the knee, zip the tummy, close. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're working through our external rotation. I don't know if you can see my feet, my heels there. They're really active here. So a lot of people sort of flop the feet, and then that's fine. There's so many things we can focus on in Pilates. But this little connection to heel is, plays an active role in the musculature engagement around in the rotators there. So just a little add-on, but pelvic floor. And one more. And lower, relax. So external rotation, now our internal rotation. So go to your external, open your knee, knee down, heel up, heel down, knee up, internal, external, pelvic floor. Breathe out, pelvic floor. One more each direction. Relax the knee down, hands behind the head, elbows in little chicken wing position. Breathe in, elbow to ceiling. Breathe out, rotate through your mid-back. Hold for in-breath. Out-breath, bring it home. Lower the elbow. Two more. Breathe in, elbow to ceiling. Breathe out, rotate. Breath in, hold. Breathe out, bring it home. One more. Breathe in, elbow to ceiling. Breathe out, rotate. Bring it home. And we'll come onto your back now. We'll finish with a glute stretch. If you need a block, grab your block, pillow. You're in class with me. So one of the most common mistakes people make with a glute stretch is often we're very tight, that we cause this twisting of the pelvis when we do it. So check that your pelvis is anchored and heavy on the mat, and bring your right ankle over your left knee. Now, for some people, that's enough as far as a glute stretch goes. Otherwise, feed your hands behind the left knee and draw that left thigh towards the chest. Hopefully you're getting enough there. And if you need a bit more, you draw your pelvis down, you anchor your pelvis down. Like I get plenty of stretch there. I don't have to do anything to get a glute stretch. Now let's just breathe and make a little connection to pelvic floor. So keep drawing your tailbone down, keep holding the position of your pelvis. Keep drawing that thigh towards the chest. Just slowly releasing that, uncrossing, other side, left ankle over right knee. Draw that thigh in. One more breath there. And slowly releasing. Just bringing the feet back on the floor. So we'll just, Pauline, you right for time?
Yep.
Cool. We'll just have a little bit of a wind down, then we'll wrap up. So just relax your arms to the side. Extend both legs long if that feels good for you. So the choice is always to have the knees bent, feet on the floor. With the legs long, just let the toes fall outwards. Just want you to think about your body as it lays on the mat there, and pick up one leg, make it longer, let it lay it back down, pick up the other leg, reach it longer, lay it back down, and just let the toes fall out. We're either with eyes open or eyes closed. We're just going to run a scan through your body from the top of your head. Imagine you've got this little shimmering light, and it's going to travel over your forehead. It's going to relax your forehead muscles, where your hairline is. And this little shimmering cloud is just going to help you let go of any tension or tightness in your whole body today. Any residual, it's Friday, might be residual work stuff from the week, whatever it is, or just tension that you might have built through movement or lack of sleep or whatever it is. So just running that scan down the body, allowing it to do its work of releasing and relaxing all the tension in your body. Allow the back ribs to let go on the mat. Shimmering down past your ribs, through your abdominals and your hips, where your glutes meet the mat. All the way down through the front of your thighs, the backs of your legs. Releasing, relaxing, allowing all tension, tightness, emotions that aren't serving you, allow them to release out of the body. As that shimmering travels right the way through your ankles and out your feet. And as it draws out your feet, it's like a suction of tension drawing out through your feet. Allow that shimmering energy to do its work. Just keep running back up to the top, drawing down and out, releasing with every downward movement, like a wave washing out through your body. One more time, allow that wave to come up through the top of the head and then running all the way down. And notice how much more smoothly it's moving through the body now as it releases completely out through the feet for the last time. Just bringing your awareness back to where your body meets the mat. And bring your awareness back to your face and what's happening around your face, your jawline, your eye line. Just bringing awareness. If your eyes are closed, just slowly opening. Taking 1 minute time to bend, feet on the floor. Just doing a small sway through the knees. Small sway. And then in your own time, you're going to roll over to one side and gradually just make your way back up to seated position. And no rushing, keeping that nice sense of, oops, that's not the best view. Bring that up. Okay, guys, so that's our session today. I hope that's been a great takeaway for you around the pelvic floor. For today, for the rest of the day, just maybe introduce a few of those exercises, your elevator pelvic floor exercises, and just any observations you have, any questions, make sure you message me. I'm going to say goodbye and stop the recording and then finish up offline. So thanks for joining. Send any messages. Love to talk about the pelvic floor and improving the pelvic floor. So bye for now. Thanks for joining.